The news that we are breaking to you, farmers of Tamil Nadu have taken to the streets in the state capital of Chennai. Farmers Union are protesting against the Prime Minister and Governor Banwarilal Purohit. Farmers have said that even after the Supreme Court's order on the 16th of February directing the centre to create a Kaveri Water Management Board, within 6 weeks no action has been taken in this regard. Mirror Now's Pramod Madhav joining me live. Pramod, so clearly the farmers are aggrieved at this moment in time with the sheer inaction and the ineffectiveness of the Tamil Nadu government in furthering their cause, particularly with regards to the Kaveri Water Management Board. It seems there is no sign of any board getting set up as of now.
Well, exactly. On 16th of February, the Supreme Court gave verdict that had positive and negative effects for the state. On the negative effect, the water, that TMC amount that Tamil Nadu should get from Kaveri was reduced from 192 to 177.25 TMC. But on the other hand, the Supreme Court also mentioned that nobody can claim ownership of a river. That is, like a state cannot claim ownership of a river. And not just that, according to M.K. Stalin and other leaders, Supreme Court gave 6 weeks as time to constitute the Kaveri Water Management Board. The farmers from Tamil Nadu mentioned that that is a welcome decision, because if the Kaveri Water Management Board is constituted, the land that is being calculated, the land that has been irrigated and cultivated will be calculated both in Karnataka and Tamil Nadu, which would make the Water Management Board effective and provide more TMCs for the state. But apparently, even after 3 weeks, there seems to be no development, and that's the reason farmers over there are protesting, and you could see a huge police presence also at this point now.
Right. So, Pramod, after the Supreme Court verdict, the only hope that the farmers really had was that the executive, that the government of their state will take some measures to make sure that they are not completely deprived of the water that they absolutely require, for which a Kaveri Water Management Board was suggested. Now, what this means also is that it will mean a long wait for the farmers. What damage could they face? What repercussions could they face if this board doesn't come into effect?
Well, it seems like it is time for the farmers and the government to resolve it as soon as possible, because within the next 2-3 months they'll have to go for the long-term irrigation called as Samba, and for that they definitely need the water from Kaveri. And by March itself, summer is like very cruel to the people of Chennai, and that's the reason they are protesting over here. They don't have much time. Within 3 weeks, the Kaveri Water Management Board should be constituted. Otherwise, they claim that whatever occurred in 2016 and 17, that will happen again. There will be a dispute within the both states as to who provide water or not. And in the end, only the farmers of the state will suffer. And that's the reason they have come up to the street over here. And what they claim right now behind me is that they want to walk all the way from Panagal Malige, that is at Cheddapet, to Governor's Palace, and say that they are going to lay siege of the Governor's Palace, because they want the Governor, not the Chief Minister, but the Governor, to talk to the Prime Minister and make him understand the necessity of forming the Water Management Board as soon as possible.
Right. So, Pramod, what you're telling us essentially is that the farmers are now pushing the Tamil Nadu government to take this case forward to the central government, and that also has not met with much of a result. But at this stage, politics is also taking over. You were telling us how M.K. Stalin and the DMK is now rallying behind the farmers.
Well, the thing is that it seems like the farmers are here only to talk to the governor, because last 2 weeks we had one day where all party meeting occurred. The chief minister presided the meeting after 11 years, and last week also the DMK chief met with Chief Minister EPS. DMK chief met EPS as the opposition leader, and that itself caused a lot of unnecessary controversies, because M.K. Stalin, after the meeting, claimed that Chief Minister EPS has informed him that Prime Minister is not willing to meet the delegates from Tamil Nadu, that they have to meet Nitin Gadkari. That has also angered the farmers.
And that has angered the farmers further. Stay with us, Pramod. Yes. Let's go across to Chengal Reddy, who is a farmers activist. I want to understand from you, Mr. Reddy, very good morning. Tell us, what are your main concerns at this point in time? The farmers are out on the streets in Chennai. What are your grievances?
See, actually, the Supreme Court judgment is very clear about establishing a authority to release water and all those managements. Now, this is an administrative decision to be taken by the Chief Minister and Chief Secretary. And the Honorable Court has given certain time also, and if the Chief Secretary and Chief Minister doesn't do it, that's why people have come, farmers have come to the streets. Now, to our unfortunate thing is, if the Chief Secretary and Chief Minister fail to implement Supreme Court order, the best thing is put these fellows in jail for a week till the orders are issued. Ask them to function from jails. This is highly irresponsible on the part of the both Chief Minister and Chief Secretary, because they are, one is a political head, other is a executive head, and the Honorable Court having resolved an issue pending for 150 years. These people in administration and executive must take minimum courtesy, responsibility, and duty to discharge their duties. And because the government doesn't act, they have Sundays, holidays, politics. These fellows these both IAS and politicians are totally irresponsible. And I think the best thing will be file a contempt in the Supreme Court and put the both of them to work from the jail till orders are released. Personally, you see, this is a failure of administration.
Right, so you are saying that there is a policy paralysis. You are saying, right. You're saying there is an administrative failure on the part of the EPS government to actually take steps to form a Kaveri Water Management Board. Is that your primary demand, that a Kaveri Management Board should be fixed so that the farmers are not deprived of their dues?
I'm sorry, is it to me, Chengal Reddy, because I am absolutely not able to hear what you are asking.
Yes, to you. Yes, Mr. Reddy. Yes, Mr. Reddy.
I'm sorry, madam. I'm absolutely. Your voice is totally it's totally very. I don't understand what you are asking.
Okay, we'll try and fix that line. Meanwhile, let's tell our viewers here that we just spoke to Mr. Chengal Reddy, who's a farmers activist, and what he's telling us is that they are upset, they are angry with the fact that the Tamil Nadu government is proving to be absolutely ineffective when it comes to applying or forming a Kaveri Management Board. That was also part of the Supreme Court order. We are not able to get across to Chengal Reddy as of now. Let me get in Mr. Sarvanan of the DMK. Is he online with us? Mr. Sarvanan, can you hear me?
Hello. Hello.
Yes, Mr. Sarvanan, what is your take on this matter? The farmers are out on the streets. I think we've lost Mr. Sarvanan there. We'll try and reconnect those phone connections and try and get an idea, a perspective from the ground in Chennai and from various political parties. But as of now, this is a major standoff. The farmers in Tamil Nadu are aggrieved today that their demands are not met with. The respite that the Supreme Court had given them in the form of formation of a Kaveri Management Board, that is also not happening. Pramod is with us now. Pramod, what we heard from Mr. Chengal Reddy gives us a perspective that their hopes are now pinned on the administrative bodies in Tamil Nadu, and the Chief Secretary and the Chief Minister is absolutely proving to be a complete failure when it comes to listening to the farmers' demands. Is that correct?
Well, unfortunately, what you're saying seems to be right from the ground here, because since 2016, the Tamil Nadu government has not been effective in getting the Kaveri water for the farmers, and that's the reason farmers protested for almost 1 year in Delhi. You could have seen the various forms of protests they did over there because they wanted to take the plight directly
Pramod,
to the
hold
center.
that thought. I'm told I have Mr. Narayan Tirupati of the BJP on the phone line. Thanks for joining us, Mr. Tirupati. Now, this is a major standoff that we are looking at in Tamil Nadu. The farmers are out on the streets. We have seen so many agitation of the Tamil Nadu farmers in Delhi, in Jantar Mantar as well. Once again, the farmers are now pleading helplessness because the Supreme Court has, of course, given the water sharing formula. But along with that, they've asked for the formation of a Kaveri Management Board. There is absolutely no sign of that.
See, you can't say that there is no sign of that. The Supreme Court has very clearly said that within 6 weeks the scheme should be formed and the water sharing should be in place, in store. That is what the Supreme Court has ordered. And this belongs to, this involves 4 states.
Right.
So the government, the central government has asked the 4 states secretaries to come on 9th. I think they are meeting on 9th at Delhi. Definitely, the central government will 100% fulfill what the Supreme Court has ordered. We are very, very sure on that. But in Tamil Nadu, some political parties and some unions, they are trying to politicize this issue because the Supreme Court has given 6 weeks time. It takes definitely time. No, you have to call people, you have to talk with them, you have to convince them, you have to tell them what is the order, everything. So it takes time.
Right. Well, your point well taken, but I would like to put that across to Saravanan, the spokesperson of the DMK. Mr. Saravanan, what we hear from the BJP spokesperson here, Mr. Tirupati, is that there are parties like the one you belong to trying to politicize the matter, and there is a 6 weeks period. There is still time. So why are you in a tearing hurry? What is your grouse?
Hopefully, Mr. Narayanan has spoken very positively. And if the same words were spoken by the minister, Mr. Nitin Gadkari, I think it would have been fine. But Mr. Nitin Gadkari has said that it will be, he cannot give any assurance on the formation of the Kaveri Management Board. So we don't know whom to believe, whether to believe Mr. Narayanan Tirupati or Mr. Nitin Gadkari. And taken into fact, coupled with the fact that the Prime Minister has refused to meet any TN delegation on this issue, raises our suspicion. And the impending Karnataka elections will have a strong bearing on this, and that is the reason why.
Yes. Would you like to respond to that, Mr. Narayanan? Please go ahead.
This is a false propaganda done
Mr.
by
Narayanan,
DMK.
Yes, go ahead, please.
Yeah, this is a false propaganda done by DMK. And Mr. Gadkari had very clearly said the process is on. And also Mr. Arjun Ram Meghwal, the Water Resources Minister, day before yesterday made it very clear. In fact, I spoke to him also. So they have very clearly said that as per the Supreme Court's order, the central government is on with the process. But DMK is trying to politicize this issue because they don't want Kaveri water to come. 7 years they never issued this gazette as per the tribunal order. So DMK has got no locus standi to discuss even about Kaveri. They have done all these problems. BJP
what he is also saying is that because of Karnataka elections, your priorities are elsewhere and Tamil Nadu is not getting its due. That is another allegation Mr. Saravanan is making. Mr. Narayanan, would you respond to that as well?
Yeah, let us forget about election and everything. The Supreme Court has given an order. If the central government is not going to, obey the order, definitely the Supreme Court is going to intervene. This is a republic country. You can go to the court. Anything can be done. So unnecessarily they are creating tension in the mindset of public. They are creating problems in Tamil Nadu. In fact, because having the elections in mind, they want to try something that will affect Karnataka election. That is what DMK is trying to do along with Congress.
Can I come in? Hello?
Yes, please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Yeah. See.
Yes, go ahead, Mr. Saravanan. Please respond.
In the Kaveri issue.
Let Mr. Stalin go to Bengaluru, meet the Chief Minister of Karnataka.
Allow me to speak, sir. I allowed you to speak. See, in the Kaveri issue, both the Karnataka government and the central government has not obliged or followed the Supreme Court's directions. The Karnataka government, whether it is for releasing of the water or anything else, has never followed it. It's always followed it in violation. As per concerning the central government, what they have done is they accepted before the court that they will form the Kaveri Water Management Board within 2 days.
Wrong.
We went back and said they will not do that. We will not do that. It's not wrong, sir. It is on the record.
That was a two-judge bench.
So this is
the case was it was pending in 3-judge bench. How many times we have to tell you?
Played both politics over the Karnataka, over the issue. And
okay.
Time and again,
the order, the Supreme Court order is there for everybody to see, gentlemen. There can be no dispute on what the court has said. There is a 6 weeks period that has been given. Mr. Saravanan, Mr. Narayanan has a point, that you are trying to perhaps cry foul even before the period that has been stipulated for forming the Kaveri Management Board is over.
No, see, it's not a question of crying foul. We are skeptical because of what had happened earlier. If earlier the assurances were kept And the
The earlier problem was done by DMK and the Congress.
Listen, we would have followed whatever the Prime Minister has said. For the record, the Prime Minister has not even met one delegation from the state of Tamil Nadu on the issue of this Kaveri dispute or the Kaveri Water Management Board. So, whom to believe?
Right, so that's a major concern. Has the Prime Minister refused to meet the representatives of Tamil Nadu? That is a question being raised by DMK, whereas the BJP assures that the Supreme Court order will be followed. Many thanks to you, Mr. Saravanan and Mr. Narayanan, for joining us this morning with your respective points of view.